Hello and a very good evening. This is Rishad De Cruz and welcome to another vlog. Today we're going to talk taxes. That's right. It's the hidden costs associated to buying a property in Goa. So whenever someone says, I have a budget of, for example, I have a budget of 1.5 crore, Rishad, and I want to buy a house. You have to provision for the hidden costs. So what are the taxes associated with you buying a home in Goa? So the simple formula that I tell everyone is provision 10%. Now this 10%, what does it include? The first thing is your stamp duty, the second thing is your registration, and the third thing, which is not a tax, is your brokerage. Yes, many people forget that they have to pay 2% or 2.18, whatever the GST is associated with that brokerage. Now stamp duties is something that you cannot avoid. Registration is something that you cannot avoid. There are different slabs. So I'm going to present the current slab. Now mind you, there's always a minor variation, right? Things change a little bit here and there. So it may be 0.1, 0.2% up and down. The slabs range from 50 lakhs to a crore, above a crore. So whatever I'm going to present right now that's what's relevant today. Up to 50 lakhs, it's 3%. 50 to 75 lakhs, it's 3.5%. 75 lakhs to a crore is 4%. And transactions above 1 crore are 4.5%. Registration, just like your stamp duty, is a government tax. There's no avoiding it. You have to pay it. But unlike the stamp duty, it is a standard 3%. So let's take an average transaction of above a crore. We generate a stamp duty of 4.5% plus the standard registration of 3%. So that's 7.5%. 7.5% is what you have to pay to the government plus your brokerage 2%. So that's almost 9.5%, and I'll explain the balance later. Now that you have stamp duty, registration out of the way, here are the other costs and other taxes that you need to know. The brokerage, which I've spoken to you before. Then you also have something called a house tax. Now if you're buying an old house in Goa, there's always a tax. So whenever you do your due diligence, ask for the house tax receipt, because over there you'll see, and it's a very minimal, but you'll have a house tax receipt. Say if it's an old Portuguese house, it would probably be somewhere around the range of 500 to 600 a year. That's a small amount, but it's still a tax. Then you have a garbage tax, you have little bit small here and there taxes that are associated with the panchayat, cleaning and so on and so forth, that you need to check. Nothing big, nothing major, nothing as heavy, as voluminous as the stamp duty or the registration. Finally, this is very important, it's TDS. Now what is TDS? It's tax deducted at source. Now Goa being the way it is, you have a lot of Goans who have migrated abroad. So let's say, I'm giving you an example. Let's say Mr. Kumar sitting in Delhi comes to Goa and says, I love this old Portuguese house. I know the owners. The owners are Mr. D'Souza, who wants to sell it to Mr. Kumar. Now Mr. D'Souza, who's a Goan, has taken Portuguese or British nationality, and he wants to sell it. It's not as simple, because the sub-registrar will ask you for a TDS certificate, and the tax deducted is almost 20%. So 20.8384% is what the tax is. Now, this is something that people don't realize, and they, especially the buyers and the sellers, they're so eager, so excited to close the deal, and then last minute they come up with this hurdle, and then the seller has to book his ticket back and so on, and the deals actually fall through. So, if you're an OCI holder, that means an overseas citizen of India with a PIO, another abbreviation, person of Indian origin, you are liable to pay a TDS of 20%. It goes up to 20.8483. I'll share the exact details with you shortly. So you need to provision for that. You don't need to pay directly. What happens is the buyer, Mr. Kumar, comes and he pays it on your behalf prior to the sale deed, and he downloads a challan saying that, look, I've paid on behalf of Mr. D'Souza, I've paid with Mr. D'Souza's PAN number, and he attaches that to the sale deed, and then the sub-registrar looks at it and says, okay, you know what, he's paid, fair enough, I'll accept the sale deed and I'll register it. Without this, a sale deed cannot be registered. If it is registered, it can be called back. So there can be an issue there with the FEMA, that is the Foreign Exchange Management Act, right? That you can have major issues. Now, what happens if you're buying it from two people, right? Husband and wife. Husband is Indian, wife is foreign. What are the taxes there? What is the TDS there? It's 50%. So let's say the property is 5 crores. The TDS on 2.5 crores, which is the wife's share, you have to calculate 20% or 20.8384% on that 2.5 crores, whilst it is the standard 1% for the husband's share. Does that make sense? So remember, always provision for TDS, especially if it is an OCI that you're buying it from. Check their nationality. Sometimes people, when they own a property or when they've bought it, they're Indians. But when they transition, when they take nationality or citizenship of another country, it's not mentioned in the sale deed. Now, in that case, you could take the risk and avoid it. You could say Indian national, but you could be in trouble. Now, for those of you who have paid the TDS, remember, it's not a fee that disappears from your pocket. No, you can claim it next year or the year after that. You can talk to your chartered accountant. I can suggest you a few chartered accountants, and you can reclaim that money. So to wrap up, let me just say 10% is the standard fee, standard tax, standard extra costs that are associated with buying a home in Goa. Average, again, 10%, which includes your stamp duty, your registration, which includes roughly the lawyer's fees. Again, that's not a tax, but that's a hidden cost. What are the costs? So typically a lawyer would charge you for a title report. He charge you 15,000, may go up to 20,000. What will he charge you for drafting a sale deed? Roughly, he'll charge you about 50,000, which includes execution, talking to the sub-registrar, fixing a date, all that. That's about 50,000. Then they also sometimes they ask you for 5,000 just to smooth things out, bakshish. So that's included there. Then you might have to shell out a little bit of money for your newspaper ad. So I suggest 2 newspapers, Navin Times and Herald, because they cover pretty much the length and the breadth of Goa. So you put your newspaper ads, that's about 15-20 grand over there. Then you might also have to do a survey, right? So of the property. So that's about 4-5 rupees a square meter. So all in all, you take all that into account, plus subsequently your mutation, which is transferring in the government records, transferring it from the person you bought it to your name. Not just the mutation of the land, but also electricity, also water. So all that is about 10% of the value of the property. So you bought a property of 2 crores. Is it going to cost you 2 crores? No, it's going to cost you 2 crores and 20 lakhs. That's what it's going to cost you. So make sure you provision in your budget for the 10% additional amount that you will spend on your Goa property. I hope this video was informative. I know it's taken me a long time to put this together. I've been extremely busy. For those of you who don't know, I'm setting up a consultancy in England, in London, and I'm helping people navigate through this quagmire of taxes and investments, and help them with their due diligence and help them make more informed decisions buying a house or a property in Goa. So you can always reach out to me. My email address is rishaddecruz@gmail.com. You can always visit my website, rishaddecruz.com. I suggest not to call me because I'm always traveling, but if you email me, I will get back really quickly. I hope you have a wonderful year ahead. Thank you for watching my videos. I really appreciate all the love, all the encouragement I get. Take care and good night.